Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel again. This is Cloud Institution, the best cloud training institution in Bangalore. So today in this video, we're going to see another AWS interview question. This is really a very important question in terms of VPC. So recently we have seen a lot of VPC interview questions, but these interview questions are really important if you want to clear the interviews and you should be understanding a lot of topics within the VPC. Okay, so now the question is, how does routing work within the VPC? Okay, so we have seen in the previous sessions that how VPC endpoints and other services, gateway endpoint and other services are working within the VPC, right? So now, how does routing work within the VPC? So if any, so if any instances in VPC, if you want to connect to the other instances in some other VPC or in some other subnets, so how the routing will be able to happen, so within the VPC. So the answer for this question is that each subnet in VPC has a route table associated with this. Okay, the route table specify how the traffic is directed in and out of the subnet. Okay, so routers can point to the internet, virtual private gateway, or NAT gateway, or VPC peering connections. Okay, so if you wanted to see the example of how this be routed, for example, this is within the VPC. Okay, so for example, we have let's say for example we have two subnets. Okay, so this is subnet 1. Okay, so the VPC, and this is subnet 1. Okay, this is subnet 2. Okay, so what happens is that so we have a okay, so if if you wanted to connect from subnet 1 to subnet 2, okay, so for example, if this subnet 1 can be a public subnet, public one, and let's say this is a private. Okay, so now if the private subnet wanted to communicate with the internet, okay, so how the traffic will flows, right? So now what happens is that so we have to be creating a NAT gateway over here, so and then so we already been attaching the internet gateway over here. Okay, so internet gateway has been attached to the VPC, and then VPC will be having a route to the internet gateway, right? So now what happens is that if you wanted to have the connectivity from your private subnet to the public subnet, through that, if you wanted to connect to the internet, so what we'll be having is that we'll be having a route table, common route table over here. Okay, so the common route table, okay, somewhere around here, right? So for example, we will be having a route table, you'll be having a route table. So each route table will be associated with a multiple subnets, or so, or each subnet will have a dedicated route table itself. Now, so if you wanted to communicate with the NAT gateway, so let's say for example this NAT gateway. Okay, so we'll be having a so private, so we'll be having the route table entry. So here we'll be having a route table entry, what is the source and what's the destination and how the traffic should flows. Okay, so based on that one, the route, the route will be, so the route will be configured from the private subnet to the NAT gateway through the internet gateway, and then it goes out of the VPC. Okay, so the overall, the if you ask about like how the routing will work um, in within the VPC, or uh, inside the AWS network itself, the answer will be the each subnet in VPC has the route table associated with this. Okay, the route table specifies how the traffic is directed in and out of the subnets. Okay, so as I mentioned with you, like even in the route table here, so everything has been decided that so how the traffic has to be flowing from what is source and what's the destination and how the traffic should flow. Okay, so this is how you should be, you should be able to you should be able to know that how the traffic will be able to connect it. Okay, so not only here, right, not only this one, so even though if you wanted to create another VPC, okay, so let's say for example is a VPC2, um, VPC2, this is kind of a VPC1. Okay, so if you wanted to connect, so for example if I have if you have one subnet over here, if you wanted to connect from this subnet to this subnet to the subnet which is available over here, okay, in and out. So what happens is that so what we have to do is that we need to create a route table over here. We need to creating a route table. In that route table, so you'll be specifying or if you want to connect to the VPC peering, and then VPC peering connection has to be established on the route table. That okay, so how the traffic should be flowing from which VPC subnets to another VPC subnet. Okay, so everything will be decided based on the route table. Okay, so for example, if you already have attached to the internet gateway, but if you don't have a entry in the route table to allow the traffic to the internet gateway, to the internet, so but still, you won't be able to access the internet. Okay, you must be having a internet gateway route in the route table, then only you'll be able to communicate with the internet. Okay, so this is something very important, guys. If you wanted to know, so how the traffic flows, how the traffic flows inside your VPC. Okay, so that's it about this video, and thank you so much for watching. Hope this video was really helpful for you to prepare your interviews. So if you're preparing for interviews, please follow us more on this kind of videos, and we'll be posting a lot of interesting videos in the upcoming days. Okay, thank you guys, see you again in the next video.